Listen, you are not even ready for the speed through today. I recorded this and yesterday's episode in the same evening. This is like between midnight and 4 o'clock in the morning. I was playing Animal Crossing quietly in the office. While also, by the way, watching Once Upon a Time. Anyone? I've had to rewatch that show so many times because I just lose the thread. I kind of like stop paying attention, and by the end of the episode, everyone who's evil is good, and everyone who's good is evil, and nothing makes sense, and I have to go back. So I've tried many times. I've got to like season 4 this time, and I feel like I'm following it, but there have been a couple of times I've had to go back to the beginning of the episode. Anyway, today, big changes. So I'm going to finish that little ice rink area on my island, and the museum area is getting a huge change. So you may remember that I got a delivery of some medieval walls and some castle walls a couple of days ago. That was a game changer. Really, all I wanted them for was to use the medieval walls for my like brownstone New York walk-up style area. But then the castle walls was just like, it's too good. They were just too good, and they matched so well with the medieval walls that I kind of wanted to incorporate them into the museum area so that it could kind of flow. Because at the moment it kind of is two areas that are high up with a separate bit in the middle, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I wanted to connect them somehow and make that castle to medieval wall feel seamless, while also kind of making the museum look a little bit grander and maybe more mythical. So here is the first look at a castle piece. I was sold immediately, but I realised I wish I'd known about this ahead of time, because where I've placed my museum, even in this space, there is space behind. I could have placed the museum further back if I'd known I was going to do this. And obviously I've already placed the stairs. It would be a whole thing. I don't want to have to move anything. So I was just kind of placing things around the museum, trying to make it work. I also realised that this would have worked better if we weren't on a higher platform. I think that you would be able to cover the museum more. Like, because we're up on the stairs, I think it automatically gives you the angle down, which means that you are gonna see above the castle wall. I don't know if that would be the case if we were at like ground level. So again, you know, you live, you learn. I've never done anything like this before. So I was kind of cool with, let's just see what happens. But here I'm just kind of trying to cover the stuff, trying to figure out what works, realising that the castle tower has to be incorporated, but there's really not enough space for that. So we're going to have to do some major terraforming. And honestly, it was kind of so difficult that I felt like giving up. I kind of thought, maybe this is not going to work. I'm going to try it somewhere else. I started laying pathways and experimenting with doing something at the entrance. I kind of expected the castle gate to be grander than this, to be honest. It just doesn't work. It looks absolutely tiny in this space, whereas it looks pretty big next to the museum. So I gave up on that pretty quickly, realised that is just not going to work, and ran on back to the museum. This is where things got interesting. I mean, when I say interesting, I mean insane. I had to basically pick up absolutely everything. I had to relay all the paths, because I knew that this was going to have to be a larger space that I had to work with, and I wanted it all to be this like cobblestone path design. I wasn't entirely sure what was going to be the space at the end, but I just wanted to make sure I had enough flat surface around the museum, like extend it out as much as I possibly could, so that I could have like more room to play with, and then I'll terraform around it afterwards. This was the point where I decided that I was going to connect this area to my little kind of New Yorky section. Love this. This looks so much better. I think this just works. It just kind of connects that whole area. I don't even know what I was thinking, having the like little pathway, little snicket between them. This looks so much better. And then obviously once I'd put all the rest of my pathway down, put all of the code on top, I was ready to start putting down my castle pieces again. And I had a lot more, like I say, room to play with. I do think that how it ended up in the end was really, really nice, but I cannot tell you. I mean, I probably can tell you. I could go back and check, but I'd like not to tell you, and I'd like not to know how long it actually took me to move the castle pieces around until they actually fit and everything. But I think just we can agree. Totally worth it, right? I actually ended up using more arches because I had more archways in my inventory, and the kind of length of them, the whole thing just kind of works a little bit better. But how great does that look? I think we can agree it was worth the time, right? It was just, that was unintentional. It was just kind of seamless looking. Obviously, this is on purpose that those almost match or do match the medieval and the castle wall. But I just think that works really, really well. I might put some other kind of something there, whether it be like a tree or something. I feel like I need something that like that little blurred line between the two building sides. I need something, but I don't know. They're like finishing touches. For now, I'm really happy. Oh, this was me trying to figure out whether or not I could put like bushes around to add a little bit of something and deciding against it. But I'm really happy with how this ended up. The only issue I do have is because it's on top of a cliff, you are looking down on it, and that kind of ruins the illusion of it being behind the castle wall. But hey ho, whatever. So I'm just going to do a little bit of landscaping. This is just kind of moving some trees, placing some bushes just to add a little bit of interest. It is supposed to be somewhat of like a formal garden area, because this is, well, obviously it was a museum, then I had like the museum garden, and I kind of want it to be like a city park, but like more of a formal area in this corner. So that's why I felt like, the bushes, they kind of added a little bit of formality to it. And just kind of moving things around and making sure that everything is kind of placed as I feel like it should be. This whole area is nearly finished now, I think. Moving swiftly on to the ice rink area. So I've had all these stalls set up since like the beginning of time, and there's just been something bothering me about it. I think partly it's because you can see through them. I kind of wanted something more that separates the kind of like city, like housing area behind and this, and I was considering putting up a wall or like a tall fencing, something. And then I realised that I had some of these spare from something that I had changed to a white colour, because I thought I could use them maybe as something like a Christmas market, something like that. That's kind of what I had in mind for them. And when I was looking in my inventory, I thought, oh, these could actually be perfect for this, more as a separator than the stalls. So I played around with the placement a little bit, finally came to something that I was happy with, and I decided to put one of the stalls in the middle. So it's kind of like, this is the skating area. Maybe these little storefronts are, like when you go to like kind of it's not even an upmarket place, but I'm kind of thinking everything's expensive, so that feels upmarket. But when you go to like a Christmas market and you can get like a little stall that you can sit in and like have your mulled wine or whatever it is that you're eating and drinking. That's kind of how I'm seeing these little storefronts. This is kind of almost like a little area that you could go and sit in. And then in the middle, I've got the stall, and I'm thinking that's more of the retail bit, whether it be that's where you pay to skate, or that's where you get like your hot cocoa, whatever. That's kind of that little midsection. I was playing around with adding stalls to the exterior part, because I was thinking maybe that would be the Christmas market thing. I just didn't quite like it next to the storefronts. However, I do think that I'm going to do that somewhere else. I do like the idea of making these into like a Christmas market. And I think it might be a nice little space filler, between one place and another, have a bunch of stores selling little trinkets and things. I did decide to change the custom design of the stall in the middle. I felt like the green with the pops of red was better, so I've got my little water cooler, is it called? I feel like that could be like a hot cocoa dispenser, and then the espresso maker, and the little ice cube lights. Are they called cube lights? I thought they were cute as like coffee table type things. I also ended up putting them next to the chairs, which I'm so happy with the way that this turned out. You'll see in the end. But it was, this was literally hours of tweaking around with things. I knew something wasn't quite right in this space. And I think what it was I hadn't left enough space around the edge to kind of like encase this space enough for me. And so I decided to make the ice rink smaller, kind of bring everything in. This was a game changer. This kind of is where I felt like, oh, I can see the completed item. The safety railings are absolutely perfect for this. I don't particularly love them from other angles, but from this angle, it just works really, really well. Same with the little plastic chairs. I can't remember what they're called. But the plastic chairs, I wish I could have had like just red chairs. I don't think that's a thing, but I might have to take them to the husband and wife duo on Halves Island just to check before we finish this. But the only ones that were available like to choose from were these, and these were like the most festive colours, the orange and the green. What I decided to do was move the lockers, and this was the thing, because it feels a bit like disjointed. I love the lockers because they do like double duty. They are a surface that I can put something on, like a drink or something like that, little added elements. But they're also lockers, because you need lockers when you go ice skating. It's where you put your stuff. But it just kind of felt a little bit not quite right next to the chairs in between them. So instead, I spread the chairs out, and because I'd made the ice rink smaller, it kind of made it seem like they took up more space when I put them all together. It was weird. And then I decided to put the lockers on the other side to almost create like the fourth wall. So the chairs are one wall, obviously the railings are another wall, and then the lockers become the fourth wall, but you can also still see that they're lockers, and they add to the aesthetic of it being like a sports arena. I love it. I think it looks so cute. I still needed something to pen the whole thing in, and I wasn't sure what that was going to be. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do another metal railing, since the safety railing's already metal, and I just wasn't sure even if I wanted to wait until maybe get the DIY for like the ice fence. But I actually decided that I had some fencing near Nook's Cranny that I didn't love it where it was, and it might work quite well to kind of tie in the wood from the wooden lockers. I love the way it looks with the snow on the top, and I think you'll agree it works really, really well in this space. Don't love it around the water section at Nook's Cranny. I don't even know if I'm going to have any fencing around there. We'll see. But I think this is just kind of like the finishing touch that makes this its own standalone area. Although while we're talking finishing touches, this felt like the real finishing touch. I added the ice pattern that I'm using on the floor for the ice rink to the cube lights. I also stole some cube lights from the park. I don't think that they're right. Look how much better they are. Just a little bit of that blue. It's not like in your face, but it's a little bit softer than the stark white, and it just kind of goes. It ties it in a bit better. It looks like actual ice cubes. I love it. But I actually stole 2 of them from the park. I don't think that it's the right thing. I think we are yet to find the right item to go on those pedestals in the park. It's just not the right vibe. It wasn't right. It wasn't right. Also, I accidentally made one of them into that gravel pattern, which was completely unintentional. But hey ho, at least it was only one of my custom kits. You know, it was late. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't be blamed for these choices that I made at 3 o'clock in the morning. But I definitely think that this was the right call. I'm also gonna have a go with playing at these blocks. I saw someone use them as like toy blocks, and when we do the toy area, the like North Pole Santa's Workshop area, I really like the idea of doing something with them there. So we'll see how that works. But for now, they are perfect for this little area. We've got some little side tables that fill out that space right next to the chairs. We've got them like for the people who are observing the skating. I love it. And also, although it's not ideal to be filming this at night, and I'm almost always exclusively playing it at night, I think a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, I want to see what it looks like at night, because it's going to be kind of like a glowy nighttime Christmas Island anyway. So it kind of works. Lastly, I thought I would have a go at a design. I'm not very good at these. I've previously really only made the one sign that's my Tinseltown flag, and I felt under pressure to make a flag because I really need the Nook Miles and I wanted it to be cool. But I wanted to make like an ice skating sign. I should have just written something that said skate. I did a boot, and it's not even central to the page, but whatever. It is what it is. And actually, when I put it on the sign, it kind of looks cool. The sign that it's gone on, it's kind of smaller and a little bit, it makes it kind of look a little bit artsy. So I think it works pretty well. I don't know if I love the red of the poster, the exterior part of the poster thing. I had intended on using that for something completely different. So I may buy one and like make it white or something, because I think that would look better. But yeah, this was my artistic attempt. I'm not great at this, but my artistic attempt at an ice skating sign. So now I'm going to take you on a final run through of everything from basically the past 2 days. I told you it's all going to come together at the last minute, and there are still going to be final touches towards the end, but I'm really happy that this corner of the island is kind of coming together now. We've pretty much finished up with like the city bit in the corner. We've got the ice rink done. How happy am I? Look how happy I am. Just super pleased with myself, you can tell. I wasn't 100% sure that this island area was ever going to look right. I kind of, for a few times, thought maybe this is not going to be permanent, but I'm really pleased with it. I mean, the castle walls were a total game changer. That whole thing was amazing. We have finally got our first 3 homes looking good. They're like, they look a bit prisony actually now I'm looking at them, but they are what they are and they're going to stay how they are. This area, I have no idea. Maybe this is where we'll have our little Christmas market. Not a clue what I want to do with this. This was supposed to be kind of like a bit of a coastal port area. Not a clue. These 3 houses are going to be slightly beachy. And then this bit, no idea. This is maybe going to be like a little outdoor cinema, but really, truly, no idea. This is our Santa's workshop. Don't know what the houses are going to look like yet. Not sure how I'm going to separate this out and make it into like a little toy factory part. I have ideas, but they are not fully fleshed. They are very much just sparks of inspiration. This was an idea of kind of almost like a boat. I think I saw this somewhere. Someone used these pieces and it kind of looked like a boat. It didn't look like a boat when I made it, so I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Campsite, no clue. Not a clue. I've put it in the corner, out of the way. Don't know what I'm doing with it yet. These trees will probably go. I'll be decorating elsewhere on the island with them. And then this is my house. This is Mrs. Claus's home, which TBA. But listen, we've made loads of progress. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.